Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Matic, helping understand best practice, big picture, keeping an eye on this guy here because it has increased and continued to increase as expected, but again, so we're reaching kind of that resistance level. We want to kind of pay attention to that. So we'll talk about that and much more. If you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, I love teaching people to trade. Hope you can learn something here today. My goal is to help you become a better trader. So obviously, if you want that for yourself, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. I have a trading academy community and signal group where you can essentially share in the signals that I send so you understand how to structure your trades more effectively. Been taking some really nice profits from Sandbox and Bitcoin recently. But furthermore, I also have a trading academy that teaches you to become a better trader, both sound body, sound mind, that whole 9 yards there. More so the psychology of how to be a trader versus just the standard vanilla stuff that I teach you here. It's all combined, don't get me wrong, it all works together, but generally speaking, trading, being a good trader is much more than just looking at a chart and determining a direction. You got to be in the right mindset and the right mentality to do well, and I think that's important. Anyways, those are things I touched on, of course. So here's where we're at. So on the daily, first of all, we want to make sure to understand and recognize that we're still under 70 on the other side. It's actually a good saying. If we had broken through that, essentially that could work sometimes as a resistance and rejection. So I would say at this point, it's positive there in that sense, and we should expect the price to possibly continue lower based on that sentiment alone. Now, that's not why you make a decision based on relative strength index, but generally speaking on the daily, when you see a price at 30, it's more likely to increase. When you see a price at 70, it's more likely to decrease. That's just kind of the general rule of thumb, okay? So again, that's just kind of the preface. So think about that. We could be reaching a resistance level. Furthermore, we also see this Fibonacci retracement level at about 78 cents, as I mentioned yesterday, could be a rejection point. It definitely was. Also note too, if we look at the smaller time frames, which we will, you'll see there's a concurrency with Bitcoin and Matic. In other words, Bitcoin shot up pretty well. It spiked up to 21,700, got rejected off that key level resistance. Coincidentally, Matic did something very similar, and it retraced as a result. No surprise there. That's pretty standard stuff for most coins. Anyways, that's kind of where we're at there. MACD doesn't matter too much except for the fact that we are kind of reaching a bit of a higher point, and I think expectations of a much further or higher price point from Matic is not recommended. I would say that it's best to be realistic in the sense that Matic should and likely could slow down and calm down for a handful of reasons. Let's take a quick look at TD sequential. First of all, we're 5 days into this continuation, right? So hypothetically, we do got 4 more days of push to the upside where we could even retest 83 cents. There's a possibility that 90 is even in the cards. But once again, it's pushed up pretty hard. And if you can see here previously, it went up to an 8 and kind of got a reset. It went up to a 7, got a reset, and we're at a 9 prior to that. So generally speaking, Matic is coming to full extensions in a lot of ways. So I would not be surprised if we see a continuation higher based on that sentiment as well. Okay. Again, so we kind of got some conflicting information here, kind of letting us know that even though we're not overextended, we are getting, hitting that standard deviation, so to speak, with the relative strength index at 70, and that should effectively tell us that the price could and should turn around in that regard. But again, we're only 5 days into this continuation that could last 9 days total. Again, that's no guarantee, of course, but TD sequential is a pretty awesome indicator of understanding, momentum and trends. Okay. So taking a look, of course, here as well, we want to touch on this. We were at hit a 9 previously. I recognize this in yesterday's video in the sense that we should likely experience consolidation before the next increase. Absolutely something that happened here. You can see the price went sideways and continued higher. And obviously, we can see we're at an 8 right now. So we are 8 times 4 hours into this continuation. 32 hours effectively to the upside. Okay. Now, in most cases with trading, 36 hours is usually the limit, which is where we're at. In most cases where the price will likely resolve itself. In other words, we see here 1 through a 9, resolution. Okay, 1 through an 8, quite possibly consolidation effort at 78 cents and or retracement back down to the next key level Fibonacci of either 68 or the most recent high of 72. So in a perfect world, this would retrace down to 72 cents and continue to progress higher. Establishing higher lows and continuing this higher high pattern. That's essentially what we're looking for. Are we going to get that? It's hard to say, but we are rejecting off this resistance at 78 cents, and we need to acknowledge the fact that a pullback would make sense right now. Taking a look at the 4 hour, we're also overextended on the RSI. This to me is in most cases, not great. I don't like to see the 4 hour RSI anywhere over 70. Traditionally, if it comes above, it will likely correct itself. So if you look at its history here, just in the recent past, it came below. What do you know? The price continued to progress higher from there. it came below here as well, price continued higher. You could argue that it came down low here as also and continued lower, but it's more likely to bounce no matter how you look at it. Okay, so again, yes, that did come down at that point, but Bitcoin was on a struggle bus hardcore at that time, and that was not a great time for us, you know. So again, 1 month ago we had a bit of a sell-off from Bitcoin, but Matic's been able to push back. It's doing very well, but when it overextends itself, it will correct itself. Okay, again, prime example, right here on July 7th, we hit this RSI up over 70. While it come up a little bit further after that, it inevitably came back down to retrace the next key level Fibonacci. So again, with us being up here, hitting that rejection point of even above, the likelihood of a pullback to 72 or 68 is quite high. Okay. Just something to think about. Oh, let's take a quick look here. We also have a potential divergence from the MACD. I know it's not official, of course, but it is working its way down. Oscillators are coming down to effectively, zero out. So if we were to see that, then it's absolutely something to recognize. So all these things together really tell us in a lot of ways that the price action will likely continue to digress. We could see a bounce off of 50 on the simple moving average, but it's unlikely. I'm speculating that the 50-day SMA is going to come up, and we're going to probably likely inevitably test that and bounce off of it eventually. We just need more consolidation here. There's going to be some profits that need to be taken because this is one of the more profitable coins right now. Most coins, they have a target on their backs. I don't know if you saw Burger recently, but that one did very, very well for itself, completely independent, and now it's getting dumped hard. And the main reason why is because whales will take their profits. It's inevitable. It's just kind of, there's blood in the water and they have to do it. I know it's more so a shark analogy, but you get the point. Okay, so let's take a look here at the 1 hour and call it a day. Ichimoku cloud, big surprise, we came up to bounce and continue higher. So all good signs here. All signs do still point up. Lagging span hasn't intersected with the price action just yet. Conversion lines above the baseline. We're well above the cloud. So again, in a perfect world, the price retraces down here to 72 and continues to ride out the cloud. That'd be awesome. If we break below the cloud, though, it might be a consideration to kind of just wait and be patient for further confirmation because we don't have that just yet. But right now, it is basically telling us if you have a long position open, you may want to consider keeping it open. All right. So again, something to think about, but I would recommend taking some profits considering we rejected off this level. However, it could very well continue to retest this level for a nice type of ascending wedge pattern that inevitably breaks to the upside. It's stacking up to do something like that. But again, the 4 hour is telling us kind of a different story. And at this point, we're neither overextended or underextended. We got a nice reset at the 9 here recently. But all in all, pretty good continuation. This is a very healthy continuation. So honestly, this nice staircase pattern could very well continue based on the fact that it's not overextending itself on the smaller time frames. The 4 hour does definitely look overextended, and I would recommend waiting for confirmation. But at this point, it's actually looking pretty good. I really can't complain. So Matic, I would say, still giving you a thumbs up on this one here, but I would say taking a long position right now maybe not the best fit. I would prefer to take entry at 72 or 68 and make sure we get confirmation before it tries to push to retest this level again. Again, it could very well continue higher, so if you have a position open, don't sell your entire position. Leave some skin in the game. Take your profits while you still can, and of course, prepare for the next battle. But at this point, we're right at this point of contention for Bitcoin. In other words, Bitcoin is retesting a key level resistance. If we cannot break through it, then we can expect a retracement from Bitcoin. If Bitcoin retraces, Matic will too, to an extent. All right, it's not completely reliant on it, but it's fairly self-sufficient. However, there's definitely a correlation, no matter how you look at it. All right, so that's pretty much all we got here for today. I hope you learned something. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site. Link in the description below. I do offer discounts for third world countries, military as well. Thank you so much for your service. Hope you have a great rest of your day and weekend. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.